This is a weird video for me to make because this is something serious, but I'm not the most serious type person and probably not the best person to be explaining something. But going by the fact how I had to go through it, I think it's probably better that I did do it. But yeah, just straight off the bat, I'm just going to say this video isn't for anything for like subscribers, likes, whatever, like anything like that. This is just to get a message out there, just to be like, this can happen, because I'm not, I didn't expect it to happen when it was going to. This was something I was expecting at some point to happen to me, but when it happened, I had no idea. So I'm just going to get started and just go on with all of this and just go back to a year ago, 2017. It was alright. It was an alright year, but for me it's pretty crap, because before I go on to the main thing, I was having a little bit of problems. I was having some back problems, it was like sore back, all that, and at random times I would just throw up. I'd just be like, I'm gonna throw up. So I did, and we had no idea what was going on. It was just like, this is weird, he's throwing up, he's becoming really, really sweaty, because yeah, that's a normal thing to do. And yeah, but throughout time it sort of got worse. Like, I wasn't having an appetite for food, so when it came to me having to have something to eat, I was just like, I ain't hungry. And knowing me, that's weird. And yeah, and then at one point I was just twitching at random times. I woke up in the morning and I was twitching, like all throughout the night as well. And in the morning I was just like, I'm twitching, what do I do? And my mum said, we'll go to the doctor, see what it is, like see what's wrong with you. It might just be a chapped nerve, and yeah, it'll probably be over like soon. And that just didn't happen. So we go to the doctor, and we found out, well, we didn't find out then, and I had some blood tests, all that stuff, like had no idea, just tapping on my back, all that, seeing what's wrong. And went home, and then we got a phone call saying that we want to be seen again tomorrow morning. And on that day, the 4th of July 2017, I found out I had testicular cancer. And yeah, I was expecting it. I didn't cry over the reason, like, yo, I have cancer. And normally when people hear that they've got cancer, they might think, well, I'm done, I'm dead. And I didn't, for some reason. I was just like, I was expecting it, but I didn't know when. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like, I didn't cry over the reason I had that. I did sort of cry. I'm not going to say I didn't cry, because yeah, who wouldn't cry over that? I was sort of crying over the stuff, like what it was doing to everyone else. The fact that everyone else is crying around me because of what happened is that. And yeah, and when I found out it's stage 4. And yeah, and yeah, it was, that's pretty serious. But like, knowing me, I didn't realise how serious it was. Like stage 4, that just means like, that's just a number to me. But to some other people, that's like, yo, that like, see you later. But yeah, I'm still here. Hi, and yeah. And yeah, so I have all these notes in front of me, like, thanks to my mum for writing it down, because I just couldn't be asked writing it all down. Some of it I'm going to add some of my own stuff into it, like I did with all this previous stuff. So yeah. Oh, okay. What's next? After going a chest, chest X-ray that showed like it had spread to my lungs as well, and my lungs, they're fine. I've not had to have anything done with my lungs, like yet, and yeah, we'll get on to more stuff like that after this. It has also spread to the pelvis as well, and lymph nodes. I hope I said that right. Lymph nodes. I don't know. Lymph nodes or lymph nodes. I don't know. It also spread to there as well, and like lymph nodes in the neck, I should say, not just anything random. And yeah, with all that cancer in me, I had to go through aggressive BP chemotherapy, and yeah, that when I got told about that, like all the side effects, I was like, you might have like a weird feeling in your mouth, and I think I could like faint at one point, which I did, but it wasn't because of that. It was because it was really hot, and yeah, there was a bunch of other stuff. I just can't think of all of them just now because it's sort of on the spot and I don't have this stuff like written down on the side effects. But yeah, I went through 4 weeks. Well, not 4 weeks. Like, what, 4 months? Yeah, 4 months of that. And yeah, it was, like it says, aggressive. It was aggressive. And throughout the first set, I had like 4 different sets. There'd be times I would have to stay in, and then sometimes I would have to just go in for that one day and, you know, just get a top up really. And throughout those days I'd have to stay in, it was about 5 days I would have to stay in, just constantly getting chemo and fluids, just to see if anything was happening with like my bladder, because apparently it could affect your bladder as well, and just like stop it. No, it was kidneys, not your bladder. It could have been, I don't know, it was one of them. But yeah, they had to keep on pumping me fluids to get me to pee, to see if anything was going wrong, and nothing was, thankfully. And with all these weeks, during the last week of chemo, I got a blood clot from a PICC line, because I had to get a PICC line installed in this arm. I said it like I was a robot. In this arm, and if you don't know what a PICC line is, it's just like a big tube thing. It's like a wire tube thing, and it's got like these little bits on the end so they can attach me to like the chemo and all that stuff. And it's just to save me getting a jag every time, because since I was going to be here for months on end, they're just like, you'll have this and you'll have this all the time for the full 4 months. And the thing is, I wasn't allowed to get it wet, so I'd have this thing like around that one bit of my arm for any time I needed to get a shower, and it wasn't easy to get on, to the point I'd need help to get it on, because it was so tight to make sure like no water touched it. And yeah, it wasn't even bad getting it in. It was just me lying there. It was just like, here's a jag to numb your arm, and that was it. Like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. And yeah, when I got it, this was happened when I got the PICC line removed. We were like, my arm's starting to swell up. Is this normal? And it was like, it's odd. And yeah, that's how we found out it was basically a blood clot. And then I'd have to stay in 1 extra day just to keep an eye on me, because I had a blood clot after staying like for like 5 days, going home, and I just didn't want to stay there. This was my last time for staying in, and I didn't want to stay an extra day, and I had to. So it was pretty hard, but it wasn't too hard, because I eventually got out, and that's just the good thing. And so wait, this bit is after chemo in October, showed the cancer was still there and surgery would be needed. Yeah, so I got a CT scan, and after the chemo there was still some cancer there, and I would need to get surgery, and I got my lymph nodes removed. And to me, I didn't even know what lymph nodes were before all this, because I ain't like the best with like biology and that. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know what they are. Don't need them. There you go. They're done. So that wasn't too bad. It was just the fact of getting surgery done, because this was such a big surgery, going by how I needed to get the lymph nodes removed and that bit removed because of the certain type of cancer it was. And it was, I was just scared for that, just because I was scared I wasn't going to wake up. That was the one thing. I thought if anything out of all this stuff was going to end me, it would be the surgery. Like 100% it would be the surgery, and I just had a feeling something was going to go wrong. Like something, like it could have been small to very large. Something was going to go wrong, and I didn't know what it was, and that's what I was panicking about the most. And in the surgery it took about 8 hours to complete, and if everything went well, I had a CT scan to scan my brain while I was still asleep, and and I had people, like, even during the chemo and this, I had visitors, like whether it was friends, family, whatever, and that sort of helped a lot than just being in a hospital bed sort of by myself, just me and my mum, because my mum would be there with my chemo and my surgery, like me recovering and that. And like that sort of helped, but seeing other people as well come by, that helped even more. And like it helped basically. And by the time I got home from Glasgow, where I got my surgery done, I was still in pain, and but it was to the point. Obviously, it wasn't too bad, but it was still pretty bad, to the point I couldn't bend over, so I'd have to struggle just about all the time for about nearly a week after being home, and then I'd be able to do a little bit more. And and I should have added this. After my surgery, a few days after my surgery, so it was probably about 1 or 2. I got I'm not sure if I should say tested, but got seen to see if I could walk. Like see if anything was like good enough with my legs to walk, because I was just in a bed for like a full day, just about, like over a day, like day or 2, something like that, like just straight up in the bed, lying there, just miserable and sore. And it was, I couldn't walk at first, and it would take a lot of energy just to do like the tiniest step. And it was pretty horrible. It's to the point, like, if you would have to pick the lowest point in your life, that would probably be it for me, recovering from that surgery, because all the stuff that was happening, because my bladder, all that stuff was just like going nuts, like bowels, all that stuff. Like, this is pretty grim just to add in the video, but still, it's like, I probably shouldn't even add this bit, but I'm going to anyway, I don't care. It's like, it wasn't exactly pleasant. And like all the nurses and that were like helping me with that, and it's like, since for the first night when I got taken away to like my own type of room bit, where it wasn't needed on like a big ward full of people, I didn't get any sleep. I probably got about like a total of 10 minutes sleep max. Like, I'm not even kidding, because every time I'd have to be like, I've got to go to the toilet, and that sort of helped me walking, because I'd keep on getting up throughout the night, doing all these little steps, to the point it was a few nights later, probably about one or two, to the point I could do it by myself. Not like amazing, like you would walk normally, but I'd be able to walk by myself. All I needed help was getting up. That was it. And yeah, after I got home from the hospital, there were plans to remove the cancer from the lung with surgery after I fully recovered from that surgery. And in January of this year, we noticed my blood pressure was going higher than it normally was, and we just weren't sure why. And we were getting told maybe it's because I'm scared, or maybe it's just whatever. We don't know. And it was like, well, when I was on chemo, my blood pressure was fine, but how come it's just high now? And it showed, well, we found out that it was a thing wrong with the surgery. That they cut one of my arteries from blood going to the kidney, and that sort of just gave me high blood pressure. And yeah, and that kidney no longer works, but I've still got it, and there's no plans on to remove it or not, because it's not doing any damage to me. So I only have one working kidney, but I've got two kidneys in me. So yeah, it's not that bad. It's just annoying because I'm on blood pressure medication now for life, and we're still trying to sort it out to the point, even though I'm on blood pressure medication just now, and it's been getting risen from I think it was on, first one I was on was 1.2 milligrams, and now I'm on 5, and my blood pressure's still the littlest bit high, and it's we need to keep it lower to the point I might need to get the maximum amount. So yeah, that's just annoying, the fact I'm on tablets for life, and I wasn't able to take tablets until only this year when I found out I had to get this stuff, because all my other medicines from the chemo, all that stuff, I'd have to get it in liquid form, because I just couldn't swallow tablets, capsules, anything like that. I just couldn't do it. And now I've just started to train myself like a very clever dog, you know. I have no idea what I'm going about, but still, yeah, I'm just able to do that now. Probably the proudest thing out of all of this that I've been able to do was swallow a capsule. So that's what it took me, cancer, to swallow a capsule. So at least I gained something from this. And yeah, and then for this last bit, the doctors decided that they'll leave the cancer in my lung from now, and now I've got to get a chest x-ray and a CT scan, a chest x-ray every month and a CT scan every 3 months. So that it's still a lot of travels, and I'm not sure if that stuff will ever stop at some point, whether I get only if I have to get x-rays every month and that just stops after a little bit, and it's just yeah, okay, we'll just do it, I don't know, every 3 months instead of a month. And then for my CT scans that are every 3 months, maybe they'll just be yeah, we'll just do that every, I don't know, 12. Well, that's a year in it, so yeah, a year, anything like that. But with all that, I don't know, it's it was a weird experience, but it wasn't horrible. It was only horrible at some bits, and honestly, throughout all of this, I feel like I've gotten it easy. Compared to some other people that have had it and then they've came out about what they've had to go through, I feel like mine was sort of nothing. The stuff they've probably had to sacrifice, and then the stuff I've had to. There was one person when I was getting my chemo, I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure, I was really young in the whole chemo ward bit, and everyone else was older. Everyone was at least triple my age. maybe double, just pushing it. And yeah, there was like these two older dudes, and then one of them, I'm not sure about the other one. I can't remember the names, otherwise I would say it. But like one of them, I'm pretty sure like he wasn't going to live, like at all, and he knew that. But like in a way, he didn't really care too much because he knew, like this is it, like this is his time to go, and all that. And then it's like the reason he was getting chemo was just to buy himself some extra time, and yeah, and he was just so happy. It was weird just knowing like that you could die or you will die, and you're happy about it. It was weird, but I don't know. Like it was with those two old guys. I was just like, they sort of helped because they were sort of just my entertainment in the whole like chemo ward and that, because they were just like, they were more immature than me in a way. Like they were playing about with each other's machines, trying to like speed it up so they can get out early and all that. And yeah, and with all that, it's, I don't know, with everyone visiting me, whether I was in chemo or surgery or whatever, or just even thinking about me, like thank you, that helped a lot. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, but like, and like just thanks. Like there was even people that weren't there to see me, and like there was one person that I knew from school, and they went to see someone else, and they noticed me in one of the rooms, and they just came by to see what was happening, and just to check up on me. Even though we didn't even talk, like they still checked up on me. And if you are seeing this, you know who you are. Thanks, because that also helped. Like anyone that helped, like anything, and mainly my mum for actually taking me to these appointments and just sitting there by me through all of it, and like going home as like late as she was allowed to like coming in as early as she was allowed to, just to be there throughout the whole thing. And yeah, out of all of this, I probably miss my dog the most. That was one of the main things I cried about. Like, yes, I'm a little beach. I'm not swearing because this is going on YouTube, and yeah, this is weird. I don't want to get this taken down just because I swore. But yeah, like I miss my dog. I did. And like anyone else I didn't see, I should probably add that in as well. Definitely not just my dog. But yeah, like I said, if anyone was just thinking about me or just anything like that, came up to visit, even brought me stuff that I needed to get me through it, like with like whatever it was, whether it was anything, like just bringing me up a bottle of juice, just to, here you go, thanks, like all of that, just thanks. I'm not one to say thank you too much, but yeah, thanks. And with that done, I'm going to end it here. If you, I don't know, I don't want to say like it or share it or whatever, but if you know someone that's going through this, just share it, just in case it helps. I don't know. It's just like, out of all this, just expect the unexpected. Like, I sound like I'm like some Facebook quote, but still, like, yeah, just expect the unexpected. And one more time, just thanks, and yeah, bye.